2020. It has been a year. It's been quite a year. Quite literally. I want to talk to you today about my reflections on this past year and overall experience of what we've all been kind of going through. Share a little bit about what's been happening behind the scenes. For me, I've talked about some things in small increments, but I've also been very, very quiet about like what is quite going on, as well as I want to give you my plans for this coming year, but really focusing on the month ahead, what my plan is for how we interact and the content that I plan to be sharing. So off the bat, this setup here you might think is very new. It's there's like different colors going on in my room. There's a microphone boomed on my desk. I kind of just want to do this like one take video. So I'm just gonna be talking. I'm just gonna be really talking to you in this video and not editing this. It's not really the plan. It's really just meant to be a candid check-in, catch-up, and to update you on what's happening. So, off the bat, 2021. I'm a very optimistic person, for the most part. I'm pretty optimistic. I try to really think positively. And I think 2021 is going to be a relatively good year. I think it's going to look up. I do think it's also, this is like a whole other piece, but I think it's a little weird to sort of just group these years in, right? It's more about these experiences that sort of happen because January of 2021 is coming, a pandemic isn't ending. Obviously we've been through this and things are looking up, right? But they're also not looking up at the same time. Regardless, I don't want to talk too much about the current state of the world itself, but what's just been like my personal experience. So if I kind of go back to January of this year, 2020, I had shared a video called What 14 Years on YouTube Looks Like. And it's wild to think, that at 10 years old, I made this YouTube channel. And I didn't really know what it was going to be. I just liked making videos. I really did. And I posted things and things that are not worthy to watch or even unlist or unprivate today. But I posted all kinds of videos going into middle school, high school, and even out of high school. And then I found, again, you can go check out What 14 Years on YouTube Looks Like, where I kind of just do a little bit of a retrospective on older videos. I share some videos that are no longer public, for sure, in little increments. But it's fascinating for me to think that, like, here I am, I'm still making content, and I'm so passionate about this new form of media that, isn't new by any means. Like, this channel is going to be 15 years old this year. I'm 25, by the way. So I've had a YouTube channel for the majority of my life. I've been uploading videos to YouTube for the majority of my life, and I don't plan to stop. I love doing this, and I really want to dedicate more and focus more on it, more than ever. So, in January, I had some really cool opportunities, and I shared one back in May during Global Accessibility Awareness Day, and that was a travel documentary that me and my buddy Josh Forbes, who is an amazing music video director, by the way, but also just a great documentary filmmaker and filmmaker in general. He's made all kinds of things. But Josh, and we even did a podcast together where we talked about his role in my project and projects, from the Tommy Hilfiger commercial I directed to shooting this travel doc. And that was really, I think it's really worth checking out. He's got 2 kids with the exact same eye conditions as me. Had no idea what albinism and nystagmus were prior to watching videos on YouTube, from my channel. From one he references a lot is How Casey Sees. Casey, another YouTuber who is legally blind, but regardless, we shot a really cool piece of content that I'm super proud of. I got to go consult on a commercial campaign in Turkey, and while we were there, we just had the opportunity to film, right? Show what it looks like for someone from the United States who is legally blind to independently get assistance at the airport, to navigate a new world, a different setting where not many people in Turkey speak English, and those who do, it's very few, at least that I encountered in the part where I was in Istanbul. Of course, at the hotels and our production company, you had some folks. In the commercial, it features a lot of children who are blind and low vision, and not many of them spoke English. 2 of them knew English words, so it was a fun interaction, right? They're all poking fun at me one way or another. I don't know what they were saying most of the time, but it was just such a different experience, and it's so hard to remember that experience after everything that's happened since February and March. So we filmed that documentary, right? And we start editing it, and then shutdown's happening, and I'm trying to figure out how long this may go on for. Yeah, well, it's still going on, very much so. But travel is a weird topic right now. Let's be completely honest. I don't recommend traveling. At the same time, Blind Abroad was more than just travel, though. That doc we made, and we want to continue to make more features and podcasts with that. But that was about trying to highlight how people with blindness and other disabilities also, their role in their societies, the role that accessibility plays, whether it's innovations or a lack thereof, and bring some awareness to that in other parts of the world. So Blind Abroad is definitely something I'm going to be continuing as a project in a few different ways. I plan to continue the podcast. We did about 3 episodes last year, and I'll talk about why I had to sort of put a pause on Blind Abroad as sort of a whole, as a project, in just a moment. We'll get to that. But really, what I want it to be is highlighting those stories. I want to showcase really cool people who are pushing the envelope for accessibility all around the world. And we will continue that, of course. I have so many people that I'm reaching out to, I've been in contact with, that we will be filming virtual chats, podcasts with in 2021. In terms of documentaries, that's up in the air as of right now. Of course, we will get back to making documentaries about being blind and traveling, or just whether the travel aspect of it is not really the main topic, the main sauce, and the main entree is someone's story, and they happen to be in another part of the world. It could be United Kingdom, it could be in Asia, it could be in South America, wherever it may be. we are going to continue these documentaries. Like, I'm going to make it happen, with whether I self-fund it or I get backing for that. Either way, these are stories I personally am very passionate about, and I want to continue to tell when it's safe to do so, when it is the right time to do so. And I'm so happy that we got to at least share the experience of what travel looked like pre-pandemic, like early 2020 / like prior, because getting assistance at the airport, it looks different now. It getting accommodations and just travel in general will be impacted by all of this. So we can contrast what that looks like, again, when it's safe and when we're taking those safety precautions and health precautions. So, Blind Abroad, it's out. I'm very, very happy with how that came out. I can't wait to do more with Blind Abroad, with updating that blog and with sharing more stories in both written and audio Zoom call formats. So it's coming in 2021. Let's forget about let's forget about this year. I have some notes with me, so if I'm kind of looking down at my phone, or really just having my phone up to my face, because that's how we do it. Yeah, that's so let's talk about why I did a couple podcast episodes of Blind Abroad and why it just kind of paused. That's really because if you've been following me for a little bit, I've mentioned it in a couple past videos. I've posted it on social media to some extent. Also apologize for any background noise you may hear. I'm kind of near a window and there's cars going by. Anyway, I'm in a new place. I'm in a different location. I'm not in the townhouse I was living in Los Angeles a year ago. So, where am I? Well and behold, I'm currently not in LA. And because of the ongoing pandemic, looking at the numbers even today, it wasn't looking up. It wasn't an ideal situation for me to be in a city, right? Like in a city that is on the other side from people who I know. I have friends and I have close people to me in LA. But at the same time, family is not in LA. I went out to LA on my own. And if something were to happen to myself or a family member at a time like this, I'd rather be closer. And on a more real note too, beyond that, LA it didn't make sense right now. As things are getting worse, in terms of living in a very crowded area, a very populated area, with a virus spreading, it didn't really make sense to be paying such a premium. Like LA costs money. LA costs quite a bit of money. And it didn't make sense to be paying that premium when networking opportunities are very scarce. At the same time, work has sort of dried up. I had work lined up already, even weeks prior to lockdown. Some jobs that I was very excited for, like career changing jobs. Will those still happen? I don't know. To be completely honest, I do not know. But there are things I was super excited to do and be a part of, and as of right now, it's not happening. It's whether it's on pause or just yeah. And I know a lot of people are out of work. A lot of people have been going through this year, and I feel for you. I do. And yeah, it's been a rough time for anyone who was like making career moves. Who anyway. I left LA ultimately because the entertainment and even the tech world were kind of dried up on jobs, and still kind of are to this day. Things are getting a little bit better here and there, but for the most part, it's not sustainable in LA right now. Beyond that, I wanted to sort of take time away, of course, to be closer to family and reflect a little bit and see like what can I do, because I feel like the lasting effects of the industry's impact from this pandemic are going to be it's going to be in effect for another like year or two, right? Like filming jobs for things specifically, working with people with disabilities in media and Hollywood. I just don't think it's going to happen as much as I would like. So yeah, that's kind of it. As of right now, as like studios are being more conservative, right, with the amount of crew and cast, and then when you bring in people with disabilities, it's a whole other level of accommodations. I hope that studios are just going to make and continue that push for better representation for disabled talent in entertainment. But that's the one thing I'm just not the most optimistic about. And I still am not right now. I was trying to be a little bit like back in, but come May or June, I'm like, I don't think I'll be working in this industry like I was supposed to this year. For, it could be a little while. So, anyway, I left LA in the summertime, and because of that, I put a pause on the podcast. I put a pause on many videos. I wasn't uploading obviously as frequent, and the videos I was sort of producing were a little easier to produce because I was still setting up my space, as in like my new place, my place, not a social network from 2002. But yeah, I'm in a different place. I'm not in LA at the moment. So, where am I? I don't know if I'm not going to say exactly where I am, but I'll give you a good hint. It's always sunny here. It's pretty good weather. If anyone can read into that, congrats. But, yeah. I've also been streaming a lot more lately. If you've been following, it's like midnight, by the way, when I'm filming this, so if I'm tripping over words, that is why. I've been up since like 8 a.m. So anyway, I've been streaming. I've been trying to figure out what it's like to stream, and I've been doing it from a Mac. Now, if you know anything about streaming, it's probably frowned upon to do it from a Mac. I mean, most people do gaming not on Mac OS because the support for Mac OS when it comes to gaming is almost obsolete. It's just not there. So, gameplay, streaming PC games, is a very popular thing to do. So there's a lot of support for doing that on Windows. If you know me, I haven't had good experiences with Windows, and I've tried it many times. But for someone with less than 10% of vision, for someone who has non-correctable vision, there are certain accessibility features that I rely on and that I use, and I believe Apple makes the best for what I need. And so I use Mac, and I also edit in Final Cut Pro. I love Final Cut as a video editor, and hey, it works with my accessibility and it works with what I need to do. So I'm a Mac user. And so I've been streaming on a Mac, and it's had some hiccups, It's had some roadblocks, but it's also had some nice success stories. It's definitely been a learning curve, because as I'm learning about streaming in general, as I'm learning about all these things that I need to do, and it's different from post production. It's different from producing a video. It's live. There's different terminology. There's different things to know, different things to be aware of. So it's been a big learning curve for me, but I've been loving it. I've actually really been enjoying it. And I like gaming. I fell out of gaming after high school. This is around the time when like the PS4 and the Xbox One were coming out. I just kind of fell out of it because my priorities were surviving. It was to get to LA. It was to make money. And yeah, so the only thing I had for a little bit in terms of like games, I bought Mario Kart and Smash Brothers, and I think the original Splatoon on a refurbished Wii U. It was the cheapest console I could get. And it was some fun games, and those fun games I had friends who also played with. So that's really the most amount of gaming I did during that time, besides like Pokemon on 3DS, because Pokemon's it's been my thing. It's been my thing since I was little. I absolutely love that franchise. But I've been gaming on stream, and I love talking about accessibility in gaming, because, surprise, gaming isn't the most accessible medium. Video games, visual games aren't the most accessible for someone with a visual impairment. But it's getting better. And I actually got to be a part of that. Let's back up a little bit. Right before quarantine, I got to wrap up work on The Last of Us Part 2, a video game for the PS4. And I got to be a part of this because I spoke at E3 a couple years ago about my experience as a legally blind gamer. What has worked, what hasn't worked, and what things make it more possible for me to enjoy doing what I love doing. And I got to meet some people at Sony, and those people at Sony thought I could be an asset for some things they were working on. And so I got to work on The Last of Us Part 2 as an accessibility consultant. I played a very small, minor role in this, but the playtesting, the feedback, the suggestions I made, much of it got implemented in, and it made that game playable for me. An action, cinematic shooting game. I, as someone who is legally blind, and not even that, but people who are totally blind, have been able to play and beat it. I'm so proud of that. I'm so proud of that team that made that, and for not backing down on prioritizing accessibility in their game. In fact, I also got to be part of the Game Awards this year, and The Last of Us Part 2 won the accessibility award. I wasn't involved in that pick. Just so there's no conflict of interest, but I'm so happy it won. But yeah, it's just the fact that game also won Game of the Year at the Game Awards, but also won Best Accessible Game. I want to do more of that. I want to be more part of the tech and gaming industry to make people who are like me, kids growing up with little to no sight and other disabilities. I want them to game. It was such a fun thing growing up, but I also had such a hard time with it. It was a great opportunity to log on to Xbox Live, play some Halo, and chat with my friends after school, meet new people. And though I was terrible at the game, it was always such that time, the times I get the eliminations, right? The KOs, or the times that I would score, a few times. It was such a celebration. It was such a great moment. And if we can make this medium even better, bring awareness that like blind people game and blind people can play with certain features, and I want to help with that. And so I did with Last of Us, and what a great success, and I hope to do more. So, getting back to my point, streaming. Been doing that. Been trying to figure it all out with a Mac, because that's just what's accessible to me. I just recently tried Windows, so try not to convince me to go back to Windows. I just tried it again. It was an absolute nightmare for me. I have so much respect for the guys at Microsoft, accessibility, and they really do some amazing things. But that platform for me personally, it's just not been a good experience for what I need. And I'll continue to give that feedback, and I hope it improves. But as of right now, macOS does everything I need it to do, and plus my video editor that I use is kind of exclusive to the macOS ecosystem. So anyway, streaming on a Mac, and I want to talk about this. I'm going to do a whole video. I talked about that on Twitter. Some people were interested in, like, how did you get this to work? And it's like, I'm still kind of tinkering and figuring that out to some extent, because I want to provide suggestions for like every bit of hardware that's recommended to make it work. But as of right now, I am working on that video for some, whether it's January or February. I'm going to talk about what it's like to stream from a Mac, and I'm going to continue to stream. This is a thing I've been doing on Twitch. I recently just got affiliate, which is really cool. I really wasn't even expecting. I woke up one morning and I really wasn't paying attention to the whole path to affiliate stats, and I just got it. So yeah, that's pretty cool. It's like, it feels like a level up, right? I'm a streamer now, but I'm still figuring it all out, and it's been a good time. So twitch.tv/James Rath, if you want to follow over there. I also recently did a gameplay session on Christmas Day here on the YouTube channel, and so many people joined in, chatted, and it was a good time. We played Fall Guys, and yeah, I enjoyed that too. And I know this channel isn't primarily a gaming channel, it just isn't. But if you would like to see more live streams, like cross-streamed both on Twitch and YouTube, we can do that. It's no problem. I just want to make sure that people who subscribe to this channel, know what they subscribed for. And as of right now, I'm okay with just streaming on Twitch, because like my viewership is so little over there that I can make all the mistakes that I need to do. But for instance, like today, New Year's Eve, I'm going to do a live stream on both YouTube and Twitch. By the time you maybe saw this already, the live stream already happened, or maybe you're getting the heads up now. But yeah, I'm planning to do a live stream on YouTube and play some video games and chat with some people and celebrate 2021 ringing in. So yeah, we'll be doing more live streaming, playing games like Spider-Man, Last of Us Part 2, things like Fall Guys, Fortnite, Pokemon Sword and Shield with the Dynamax Adventures game mode, just all kinds of things. Among Us, like I want to keep doing that. So once again, if you want to continue to follow the streaming journey, join me, chat with me, help me even game. I know a lot of people don't like when you're backseating, is what's called, helping the streamer with something, and I'll let you know when not to do that. But for the most part, I'm actually kind of okay with it, because I know that I'm a pretty subpar gamer, but I'm also like got a huge disadvantage than most gamers do when booting up a game. The whole I can't really see it thing. I feel like it's a pretty fair excuse, but we still have fun, and we celebrate those wins when they happen, and those achievements. So if you want to join twitch.tv/James Rath, you can follow there. Of course, like the other socials and stuff, Twitter @JamesRath, Instagram is also @JamesRath. Keep up with me on other platforms, because I post other content, other places. So my plans going into January. I've been working on a few things to sort of play with on YouTube. And I will be kind of making some tech-related accessibility videos. I mean, that's nothing new. It's pretty familiar for people who watch this channel. You probably expect James's take on the latest iPhone or whatever. I'm working on like a video for the iPhone 12 Pro Max. This guy right here. I've been playing with it for a while, and I haven't made a video about it. It's kind of funny. I should have jumped on that a long time ago, but I am working on a video. But it's not just about the 12 Pro Max. There's a specific feature, that LiDAR sensor, I'm excited to talk about, and I even got some like full-on developers coming on to talk about the future and potential of LiDAR and augmented reality with artificial intelligence and how that can help improve quality of life for people who are blind and low vision in the real world. So some practical uses of that. So I'm excited to talk about that. Did a little piece on that. I've also got like a bigger piece on audio descriptions, as well as some fun stuff I'm very excited to talk about, but I can't share. I got some like silly videos coming, and I want to tell you, I think I'm gonna hold off. I feel like I'm just gonna let that surprise people in their sub box. Like, be sure you get those notifications and stuff, because YouTube's wonky sometimes. It doesn't always tell you when things are uploading. So be sure to look out for some fun videos in January. So I got some like more things I'm like very passionate about talking about, and then I just got some fun things that are I'm just, oh my gosh, I want to tell you, but you're just gonna have to wait like a couple weeks. So that's all. So 2021, we got some new videos coming in January, some consistent uploads. I'm going to be experimenting, so I'm not setting a schedule yet for streaming, but I'm going to be experimenting with certain days and making sure it works with my schedule, my other life commitments. And I'm working on a documentary, larger documentary, kind of blind abroad related, but also not. I'm hoping, I'm putting it out there, but my goal is to get this doc about an hour long. Could go a little longer, might be a little shorter, but like an hour long doc. I'm hoping to release it by the end of 2021. So that's all I'm going to say on that. It's going to be a little hard because obviously we're in a pandemic. So making things like that happen, it's tougher. It's, shooting and doing a little bit of travel and working with crew. I'm trying to make it happen, but we'll see. Putting it out there, 2021. Let's make this the year that James gets this hour-long doc out there. Remain optimistic, right? But I also don't want to rush it at the same time. So I'm live streaming. I got new videos coming in January. I'm working on scheduling and all that. I'm working on this content. I love posting and I love streaming. And I want to continue to do this in 2021. It's a little tougher because I can't just have people who I normally had help me, right, on videos. They're not here. I can't just get them over. There's health and safety things that I gotta take into consideration. So I'm working on just sort of a more consistent setup and format of videos that I can produce independently. So that's the thing. It's like once I hit record, I can't monitor a video. You can have all the viewfinders in the world, but I can't sit there and watch myself. I can't even see myself. I also gotta be careful of lights. Like, having this big bright light right here and this other light over here, it hurts my eyes. I'm actually just recovering from a very severe migraine I had from a mix of lighting and the smell of paint. They're painting parts of my building, and I literally woke up to the smell of paint. And it wasn't even in my apartment, but it was awful. And I have a very strong sense of smell. The hearing is like okay. Hearing, I can focus on all. But if I did get any kind of enhanced sense, unfortunately, it was the sense of smell. Unfortunately. There's some great scents out there in the world, but I saw some pretty foul and vile ones. Where's this video going? 2021, man. I'm excited. I'm happy that if you're still listening to this, I don't even know why or how. Leave a comment. Just tell me like, hey, I made it this far. Literally just comment saying, yo, James, guess what? I made it this far. That'd be pretty wild. But one last thing I want to talk about real quick. I'm going to be introducing memberships to this channel. And I don't want you to feel inclined or like you have to. You don't. What memberships would do is for those who do feel and want to support me beyond just watching, liking, commenting, sharing, you can. And in a way of saying thank you, I'll be posting some exclusive content. I spoke at Justine. She's a YouTuber, fantastic person overall, amazing person. She had me speak with her on a panel with 2 other amazing content creators and the marketing guy from Final Cut Pro. We spoke at a real person, like in-person event back in January to February 1st before all this happened, right? And that was in 2020. It's so weird to think that happened. Recently. Man. It was less than a year ago. The world really has changed. But I shot a vlog while I was there. And I give a little bit of insight on like Final Cut, why I use Final Cut, and gave my perspective. So if you're interested in like content like that, plus an exclusive podcast that I'm going to be posting monthly, where we just talk about tech topics. If you've ever wanted to hear my sort of raw, unfiltered thoughts on accessibility and tech-related stories that are currently in the news, like Apple versus Facebook, right? Things that might get even a little bit political. I'm not going to get too political. I don't do that, but sometimes it does. But if you want to hear me talk about those kinds of stories, right? Those relevant news stories that I feel like I have a take to share, I'm going to do that for people who want to hear that. So memberships will be coming to the channel. Again, totally optional. Completely optional. It's just a way, by providing this like little extra content, it's just my way of saying thank you, and to build that community of people who are more a part of helping to make this channel, helping with the production side, right? Funding the channel a little bit. Because again, I'm doing a lot of this on my own right now. I can't have other people helping me because of all this, right? So I just, it can help, but for sure, do not feel like you have to. And yeah, anyway, memberships, they're coming. Of course, like Twitch has its own, with being affiliate, you can sub to channels and all that. So I'll see like how this juggles and translates over there, but thank you for listening. If you've made it this far, just let me know, what are you excited for 2021? I'm optimistic that the world will take baby steps into, and let's be all inclusive, baby rolls up a ramp, a steep but steady ramp, to just being a little bit safer, cleaner, hopefully more accessible. You know, that's a big thing I do want to talk about in one way or another, is how has accessibility been looked at? after this pandemic, or really in this pandemic even? And are things going to look better or worse? I hope that you could see something different today, whether it was here or elsewhere in your day. And I'll hear you next year. Bye.